He's a guy who likes to ride his motorcycle when he's not doing anything. He's a guy who likes to ride his big motorcycle around the city when he's not doing anything. He even has a strange habit of staying at strangers' houses and peeking into their lives. By the advertisements placed in front of their doors, he could tell if the owner was home or not. Every time he stayed for a while, he'd clean up the host's house. When he broke into the girl's house, he also scrutinized the room. But he didn't know there was a woman inside. He skillfully repaired the broken weight scale. Instead, she followed him like a thief. After the boy left, she stepped on the scale. This is the first time since she married. She felt her true weight for the first time since she married. She listened to her husband's messages. It was an apology to the heroine after the domestic violence. After a hard day's work, the guy planned to treat himself manually. What I don't know is, at this very moment, there's a pair of big Caslin eyes staring at him. When they met each other's eyes, he smiled an awkward but polite smile, and left in a hurry. But halfway there, he went back to the girl's house by mistake. At this moment, the heroine is at home cleaning her wound, alone in the bathroom, crying silently. As he listened to the woman's cries inside, he prepared clean clothes for her. He even turned on some soft music. The woman inside listens to the soothing music. She knew that the stranger who ran away had returned. After the heroine came out, the two of them have a tacit agreement not to speak. Under the young man's care, the rose that is the heroine regains her youthful vigor, and the boy's lonely heart has found a home. But unfortunately, the heroine's husband came back early, shattered their peaceful life. This loser man is not happy with his work outside. When he came back, he beat and scolded his woman, and when he found out that it wasn't painful enough, he wanted to dominate her. He wanted to take her. All this was clearly seen by the young man outside the window. He was furious. He played golf on purpose to make noise. The men were attracted to him. The guy hits one golf ball after another. He hit the golf balls, and hit the loser hard. He wanted to kill the man, but when he saw the woman's pleading eyes, he turned away in silence. Downstairs, he angrily started his motorcycle. Upstairs, the girl gave a cold look at the man who kicked and punched her. Doesn't want the boy to beat him to death, just because. I don't want him to lose his future for this scum. The girl went downstairs. She got into his car and left. Where are they going? They don't know. But no matter what, they must leave this house. The boy rode a motorcycle. He takes the girl through the streets of the city. Whenever they wanted to stop, they put up advertisements, judging the unoccupied houses would become their temporary home. They came to their first home, a photographer who used to take pictures of the model heroine. A famous poster of the heroine hung on the wall. The heroine stared at it in silence for a long time. But the next day, the boy realized that the poster had changed. It was the heroine's farewell to the past. They began to feel like a real family. The girl did the laundry. The boy cooks. During the day, the boy liked to take the girl to the park to play golf. He would tie a golf ball and head it into the distance. Passers-by are often startled by him. He never worries about hitting anyone, although the girl had been abused many times, but she was confident that he would never swing his club at her. He's like a stubborn kid, trying to prove himself, or to prove himself. The boy, time and time again, he'd stand right in front of the golf ball, but the boy won't put the club in his face. Even though the lassoed golf ball couldn't possibly hit the girl, the guy wouldn't take the risk. Then they went to a new home. I didn't realize it would have such serious consequences for both of them. This young man has a future. He's so young, he's got a girlfriend. He's a young man with a girlfriend and a lot of houses. But when he took the girl again, into an empty house. But unfortunately, he got into trouble. On this day, the guy closed the door as soon as he opened it. The girl wondered what was inside. She wondered what was in there that would make him look like that. After she opened the door, she found an old man lying in a pool of blood. Next to him was a lonely dog. Through the phone message we learned that the old man's children are traveling. They won't be back for a while. She couldn't bear to leave the old man behind. So she and the boy cleaned up the old man's body. They wanted the old man to leave in a dignified manner. But unfortunately, they were reported. He became a criminal. He went to jail for prostitution. And the heroine was taken back by her husband, back home. The heroine was already hysterical. But all he did was break the scale. And let himself lose weight again. The police found out the truth. They were going to let him go. But the woman's husband bribed the police. He likes him to go to jail. For him. For the guy, living in this empty house is not a bad idea. He still wanted to see the girl. But the police wouldn't agree to his request. They even kicked and punched him. The boy didn't want to be controlled and tortured. He started to try to escape. The guards scornfully told him that if he wanted to get out, unless you can hide from my eyes, so he practiced stealth in prison. Finally, he was actually able to hide from human eyes. After successfully taking revenge on the guards who bullied him, he returned to the heroine. Sitting at the dinner table, the heroine looked at him through her husband, smiling shyly and sweetly. His boy has finally returned. Looking at such an airy scene, I think maybe everyone needs an empty room, where you can hold the pain you've suffered. Otherwise, even if you've been in the same boat for 100 years, a couple who have been together for 1,000 years, under great pressure and cold violence, they'll fall apart. Later, the guy helped the girl to fix the scale again. This time, they stood on the scale together. The number on the scale was 0. They disappeared together. They entered a world that belonged only to the two of them.